Oil prices have spiked after a devastating attack on the heart of Saudi Arabian oil production over the weekend shocked markets and could disrupt the global supply of crude for some time. Prices initially surged as much as 18%, but retreated after President Trump said last night that it authorized the use of oil from the country's emergency oil supply. Now, he said oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, or SPR, would be used to, quote, keep the markets well supplied. The U.S. Reserve is the largest backup pool of oil. Joining us now is Adam Cooper, the Chief Operating Officer for Quest Automated Services. Adam, welcome in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, Adam, to give a little background, 10 drones attacked an oil processing facility on Saturday, causing a loss of 5.7 million barrels of crude production a day, or that's 50% of the kingdom's oil output. Adam, explain to our listeners just how big that is.
Well, the entire United States produces, 12 million barrels a day, or give or take a few. But we're roughly producing about 12 million barrels a day. So that would be half of our oil production overnight gone. So that is a huge hit to anybody. And prices have soared from almost a $10 spike in a matter of days. So obviously it's affecting the oil price dramatically, and long term, it's going to take them a while to rebuild those facilities.
Adam, it's being called the biggest oil disruption in history. Is that overstating it, or is that pretty accurate?
No, I mean, you got to think back, in the 70s, and even into the 80s, we were only producing 6 to 7 million barrels a day in the United States. Only here recently have we become energy independent. So that is a massive amount of oil gone off the market on a daily basis. We can use the reserves here in the United States and keep us afloat, but that lowers our reserves, and at some point in time, we've got to build that reserve back up, and very quickly. So you're going to see prices spike. I think that they will hover somewhere between $65 and $70 for the rest of the year, depending on how quickly they can build those facilities.
So, Adam, what kind of a jump can we expect to see at the pump? How high will it go in the coming days and weeks?
I think you could see it get back up into the high twos, or even low threes, depending on what the barrel does. If it goes up into the 80s, you'll easily see it back into the $3 range. And some people are saying, a $20 jump. That's possible. I mean, think about this: 6 million barrels a day. So half of the U.S. production gone overnight. And I know it's not quite that much, but half the U.S. production gone overnight here in the United States, that would make a drastic difference. What it will do is we will have to start shipping more oil overseas. And so what it will do to WTI is it will raise the price, because as far as people that can fill that gap, the United States is one of the only countries that can do it. So over the coming months, you're going to see oil and gas operators start turning wells on like they haven't done in the past. They've drilled wells and not completed them. Now you're going to start seeing people complete wells. You're going to see rigs start to come back up, which means jobs here in America. So it's honestly, as devastating it is to one country, it could be really great for us. Mm-hmm. And long term, I think that it could hurt long-term prices, but short-term, you're going to see a giant leap forward for the next year or so. We build facilities for a living, so we turn to operations, and I can tell you right now that for the foreseeable future, those facilities are going to be down. It's going to take them a long time to recover from this, and if the attacks continue, you're going to see devastation to the market like we haven't seen before. And you're talking about you lose another 5 million barrels a day of production. Mm-hmm. You're going to see prices jump up into the $100 range really quickly.
Speaking with Adam Cooper, the COO for Quest Automated Services. Yeah, I remember having you on the Moon Griffon show about a month or two ago, and we talked about how energy independent we've become under the Trump administration. The U.S. has 645 million barrels of oil in reserve. And many people right now are asking, well, hey, is our reserve enough to avert a consumer crisis? These are, let me say this. When you talk about where we are now and say where we were about 4 years ago under the Obama administration, how much more prepared are we to be able to deal with a crisis like this in Saudi Arabia, where so much millions of barrels of oil was disrupted? How much better are we prepared to deal with that now than we were just 4 years ago?
So let me go back to 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we were starting to produce quite a bit of oil, but we were still in the 10, 11 million barrel a day range. Some estimates have us as high as 14 million barrels a day today. So if that, the difference is massive. I mean, we've gained almost as much as they just lost in 4 years.
Wow.
If we wanted to, we could shut the export off, and we could have enough oil to sustain ourselves here in the United States at any point in time. So as far as the United States goes, the energy independence is huge. For other countries, however, we are a massive supplier not only to the U.S. but to the world. We export a lot of oil and gas at this point. So if we decided to shut our borders in and say, hey, we're not going to export oil and gas anymore, you would see other markets become devastated very quickly. 650 million barrels of reserves sounds like a lot, but when you take into account that we are going through at least 12 to 14 million barrels a day here in the United States, it's not that big of a number. It really isn't. Facilities like the ones that were bombed are going to take anywhere from a year to 18 months to build. So if they started on them today, you would be 18 months out. So that's a big gap that's going to have to be filled by somebody somewhere in the world. And in all reality, we're the only ones in the world, the United States is the only ones in the world that are capable of filling that gap. We have the crews, we have the manpower and the technology to do so. So again, you'll see the United States start cranking up production. As long as prices go up to where people can make it profitable, they will do it.
How confident do you feel in U.S. leadership right now handling this crisis moving forward?
I think we so far have done a good job to where we didn't let prices soar. And that's been a problem in the past during Obama's time, is that we kind of let it get out of control, to be honest. And I know a lot of people in the oil and gas industry loved $100 a barrel of oil, which our company loved it as well. That being said, we had a lot of money thrown into the market that was not smart money. And so we had a lot of fly-by-night companies come into the market. If we can keep the market slowly but steadily increasing to where we go from $65, even up to $80, in a smooth transition to $80, you'll see people that know what they're doing reinvesting, and you'll see a lot of oil coming onto the market, which is huge for the country. I'm just concerned of rushing into something and saying, oh my God, we're going to $100 a barrel of oil, and us starting to see money flow into the market like, never before, and then all of a sudden another tank happening because we threw way too much money at it way too quickly. So I'm hoping that this administration will do a little bit better job in controlling that market.
Adam Cooper, Chief Operating Officer for Quest Automated Services. Sir, man, we really appreciate your insight and appreciate your explanation of everything that's been going on. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.